I'm Deb Sakalowski. This is Ivy Terrace. Friends at the historic city of Jefferson has asked me to put together a little video to give you an update on how things are going so far. We've been trying to give you hints as we've gone along with some of our updates, but I'm going to take you inside and show you a little bit of what's happening, so you, those who really appreciate the preservation of these beautiful homes, can get the first glimpse of some of our inside work and some of our challenges along the way. One of the things that people have asked us about is what color is Ivy Terrace going to be? Most of you have only seen this red. It was white previously. I believe when the White Cottons owned it, it was white, and they went through all the trouble of taking all the white paint off of it before they sold it. And it's amazing to see that this red brick has no trace of white on it. It's in wonderful condition. So, but then what will the actual color of the house be? So what I will tell you, besides the red and the white, there is another color underneath there. And that's the color we're going to make Ivy Terrace. We believe that Lon and Maggie Stephens chose that color, and we want to do the right thing by history and take it back to that original color. So speaking of color, we did have to take the ceiling of the porch down, the veranda, and the colors that we saw here, it was white most recently, but there were a couple different colors underneath the white paint of blues and greens. So we haven't decided yet. That is kind of up in the air. We're gonna see how all the colors play together, whether it goes back to one of those more traditional colors, or we may even just leave it natural wood. You can see. One of the things that we were really excited about when we were upstairs, this is actually the kitchen on the first level, but when we were upstairs, we saw the speaking tubes. I posted something on Instagram to say, hey, do you know what this is? We found one of the actual mouthpieces, or at least where it would be. This has been cut off and then it had plaster, and that's why it's full of junk. The cool thing about these speaking tubes is they were set up in such a way to where if you needed to talk to the person on the other side, you could blow into it and it would whistle. The person on the other side would then open up their part and they could talk into it. So it had a way of closing it off, and that way, if you're having a conversation here, the person at the other end just can't hear it. Some of the most interesting things we're finding is actually by taking apart some of the drywall. So drywall has been added to a lot of, especially the outside walls. This is our butler's pantry. And it was mainly to run electrical. Now this big, horrible hole here was probably during the days of the Marywood Beauty School. There was a lot of sinks. We haven't taken this floor up yet, but I'm sure there's going to be a hole where there was a sink in here as she was teaching beauty. But what we're finding as we're trying to take these things down very carefully is we're able to see the shadows of what was here before. And so we're trying to put things back as best we can. So I'm going to show you the pansy room, mainly because this is a room that when the White Cottons were renovating it after Marywood was here, she uncovered these pansies. So these pansies are the original artwork, hand-drawn pansies when the actual original owners, the Stephens, built the house. And so she touched them up by hand. There's still quite a bit of damage. We're not sure what we're gonna be able to do to save these, but it is a goal to try to keep something that's as old as the house in place. Maggie Stephens was known for having a diary that she wrote in most of her life, and there's actually an entry in there where she's talking about opening Christmas presents and opening it in the pansy room. So this room is interesting because anytime we can find any kind of traces of where Maggie had her life in one of these rooms, we definitely want to do what we can to make it as beautiful as it was back then. Something else while we're in the room I'll show you. We have some beautiful floors. Now these are all pine, tongue, and groove throughout the whole house. In some cases they were painted, and then the middle of the room would be raw. It's never been finished. Probably had a rug. And then in other rooms, none of it is finished. And luckily, we believe when the White Cottons had the house also, they applied all of this wonderful particle board on top of the lovely floors to prevent damage when they put carpet in. So for the most part, we are finding that as we pull up these subfloors, the wood's in pretty good condition. So we're kind of looking forward to doing a real easy finish on it, and you're not making it too modern because it is 130 years old, and be able to make it look like it might have looked back in at least early 1900s. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to touch up and try to make beautiful again. A lot of work, but you know, right now Ivy Terrace is our passion, and we're all about making this thing beautiful. So we've had to go through and remove basically all the ceilings. We're still in the process of doing that. Not the best thing to do because all that plaster and lath is what gives a house like this its charm. But as you can see, I'm in one of the bedrooms on the second floor now. The hole up there in the ceiling goes up into the dormers, and that's where the raccoons lived. So in order to actually get the smell out of here to where you want to actually come visit this house, we decided that it made sense to just remove all these ceilings so we can get up there and clean it. In addition, it gives us the opportunity to run all the electrical, all the HVAC as we need to, plumbing, without tearing up too much more of the house. So by opening the ceilings, I think we're giving ourselves an opportunity to try not to tear up too many of the walls. As you can see up in there, that's our speaking tube that went from the kitchen where I was earlier into the master bedroom, which is the next one over. So one of the things we get in trouble with in this house with is it's very distracting. Every time we turn around, we see something that makes us curious. So we start making holes. Now, granted, we thought we knew what we were looking for with this is the speaking tube in the master bedroom, but we actually start looking for it in this side of the room because we thought by the door it makes more sense. And lo and behold, we find a gas line. So, well, we'll have to continue figuring that out. And we found a second one. So there was probably one of the wash sinks or something, and it had the gas lights between it, or maybe a desk. That'll be interesting, and we'll try to put a fixture in those places to bring back that history. But we did find the speaking tube, and so we will actually connect that. I think that's about it for today. Would you please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, whatever your preference is, and let us know. Let us know what you think. It's a lot of work, but between myself and my husband, Scott, and my sister, Wendy, and Dennis Gladback, and our brother, Jim Villetta, we're all in. For some reason, we thought we could do this, and there's going to be days that we may not think we can do this. So please cheer us on. Please pray for us, for our families, for my marriage. I'll look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see what we can do to give you a little more insight in a future video.